Man, what up, what up, what up, and welcome everybody. Welcome to Pinoid Live. Man, listen, welcome back to the channel. I'm be honest with you, all right? Like, I had a bit of a rough weekend, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of a rough weekend at the moment. I was standing here and I was trying to get this motherfucking work in, you know what I mean? And I ended up motherfucking like putting my health behind my motherfucking money, and it caught up with me, and I ended up in the ER. And now a nigga got to switch professions because I ended up, getting diagnosed with the diabetes, right? The diabetes, right? And I ended up standing here having to sit here and, actually get it done. You know what I mean? I had to fucking fall back and relax and get my life together and shit. So anyway, with that being said, right, I'm gonna tell you what, man, that motherfucking Jones is shining too bright. We're gonna kill the camera. All right, so here's where we are. I wanted to sit here today, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm all right, nigga. I'm saying I'm be all right. At the moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm having a couple of issues. I gotta get off of this bitch by like 3:20 because I got a fucking doctor's appointment and shit. I gotta do a video call with these motherfuckers. You know, it is what it is. I'll deal with that shit later. But anyway, I'll be all right. So now, with that being said, let me say this. I wanted to sit here and have a motherfucking conversation about the ideology of how the election was stolen, how Donald Trump's presidency was fucked up, and how everything went the way it did over the past 4 years. Okay. And it kind of goes back to the Ron Paul point of view in the end of the day. Here's how all this works. The United States government is the welfare for the corporations of this country. All right. Everybody who the corporations can employ, everybody who the corporations don't have the ability to take care of, the government stands here and hands out welfare to. Now, and this allows the corporations and, the rich people inside of this country to continue to make more money. So like the people don't end up rioting and taking over and getting to the streets and destroying things, right? Because, that's how it works. When individuals are hungry, people tend to go and, lose their minds and try to kill a whole lot of individuals. That's how this operates. You know what they say? Every country is 9 meals away from anarchy. That's, that's 3 days worth of meals. So 3 days without food, motherfuckers will be in the streets protesting. Now, with that being said, what happens is that as the government stands here and prints welfare, right? Whereas we used to have things like pensions, right? And, good health insurance that covered everything. And you had the ability to have a living wage when you were just, a regular employee, no matter what you did. Okay. The problem is that type of ideology is gone now. Now it's covered by the government and things like Social Security and Medicare and welfare and food stamps and Section 8. So the government stands here and hands out all of these things, right? Right. The government stands here and hands out all of this money and has all these programs, right? And when he does so, or when they do so, they end up devaluing the currency, okay? Because more and more people every year end up on these programs. Now, with the devaluing of the currency, it would end up tending to raise the wages of the workers, which would end up in turn eating away at the profit of these corporations inside of this country. Well, they found a way around that. What they do is, they, number one, they export manufacturing and most of the production of all goods to other countries. For instance, China is the largest one of these that has benefited from this. And the second one, all right, is what they do is they bring in immigrants. They bring in poor people to come do the job so that they don't have to raise the wages of regular American workers. All right, because American workers won't tolerate doing jobs for nothing, but immigrants will. And when you bring in massive amounts of immigrants from, Central America, South America, Africa, Eastern Europe, what ends up happening is that they end up standing here having all of these people drive down the wages of the individuals who are already here. So the corporations are able to make more money. This is how the process has worked over the past 50 years inside of this country. Because in the 1970s, right, yo, Mr. Stroff, I'll get to you in a minute, right? In this country, what they have done is they have stood here in the 1970s in this country. What happened is that they ended up having this catch up to them. In the 1950s, right? In the 1970s, what happened was in 1971, all of the countries who were still on the Bretton Woods standard, all right, a few of them, for instance, Italy, Switzerland, and West Germany, decided to call in their reserve of dollars in exchange for gold. But when they did so, the United States had to fucking sit here and admit that it didn't have enough gold to pay them, because they had been sitting here printing money against this gold that didn't actually exist. And this is where the last video that I dropped, they stood here and they sat and they said, hey, look, you know, you don't have to have a backed currency. All right. And you don't, you know what I'm saying? You can have a currency based on debt. But the problem is, okay, here's the real issue, is when the people finally get fed up with your bullshit, they're going to come after you and tell you no mas. All right. They're going to tell you can't bring in any more people. You can't stand here and destroy our fucking, our employment opportunities. You can't continue and destroy our neighborhoods and our communities. You can't keep degrading our way of life. It's that simple. All right. And now Trump got in the way of all of this, because Trump came in and he had a full understanding of what the people wanted. And he had a full understanding of what was going on the business side. He sat here and he said, look, all these countries that we were protecting with our military, why aren't they fucking paying us? Why aren't they giving us fucking money for this oil that we're guarding every year? Why aren't they paying us 25%? He said this back in the 90s and in the 80s, right? And Trump had that full understanding and went in on a Reform Party platform and sat here and tried to destroy all of it. He said, look, we're not going to bring in more Mexicans. All right, we're going to stand here and push these motherfuckers back, and we're going to fucking sit here and we're going to try to allow the Americans to have an opportunity to catch up. Well, the corporations weren't going to tolerate me and you and the average person having an opportunity to make actually more money. So they hatched a fucking plot. All right. They fucking stood here and they had this COVID-19 happen. Now, this happens every so many years. Okay. Legit. Before this, it was Russiagate and all that bullshit trying to stop Trump. But he was still on the road to doing what he needed to do. But this COVID stopped him and us directly in our tracks. These viruses come out every so many years, whatever, we had SARS, we had the Ebola, we had all that fucking dumb shit come out over the past few years. We never actually reacted to it as a nation, right? And so when they did this shit, right, this time they made it stick. All right. This time they made it fucking work, because they actually had the congressmen on board, Republicans and Democrats. They had the governments. They had all these people, all right, who were directly on the payroll of these individuals, because what the corporations do is they fund all of their elections, and it was an election year. So they said, look, here's what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to shut this motherfucker down and stop these some bitches in their fucking tracks from doing what they're doing. Okay, and we're going to sit here and we're going to motherfucking make sure that they understand and they know who the fuck is in charge, because it's not them. That's what the fuck they did. They said, you, the average taxpayer in this country, you don't run shit. You don't own nothing. This ain't yours. This is ours. We built this, is what they said. And as we all stood here and looked up, and everybody's walking around wearing their fucking mask and arguing about Democrats and Republicans and the left wing and the right wing and socialism versus capitalism, I want you all to understand, none of that fucking applies. That's what the fuck just happened over the past 4 years. And that's what happened in this election. They literally stole everything from the American people. They said it's more important for these corporations. It's more important for these rich oligarchs to continue to make money than it is, right? Well, we could take advantage. You put your money in the market. You know what I'm saying? Like, the currency's being extremely devalued, right? Put your money in the motherfucking market, like real shit. Like, it's just whatever general ETFs, and like you'll make money. It's going up, right? Like, I'm up like fucking 30% over the past couple of weeks. Like, you'll make money, right? But that's not the point, right? It's not about taking advantage of the situation. I'm putting this out here for Let's Be Frank and Aircraft Sparky and any of the boomers I have who still watch my fucking channel. Because I want all of you to understand. Okay, legit. I want you all to understand. There is no left wing or right wing. All right. The Democrats have never failed to approve a defense appropriations bill. Think about that for a second. They have never failed to approve a defense appropriations bill. Real shit. So when you talk about left wing, you talk about fucking right wing. Real shit. Neither one of them really fucking exist. They all work for the same people. It's all the same motherfuckers. Doku, what up, my nigga?
Yo, what's up, man? I couldn't help but jump in on this one.
Like, am I wrong about any of this?
No, you're not. And that's the sad part about this. What people don't realize. Yeah, you can vote against the establishment. You can try to do what Trump did. Good luck. But as the saying goes, it's a big club and you're not in it. And guess what? At the end of the day, it's all about money. Politics has become a business. If you think that you're actually going to go and try to bring back manufacturing, which Trump to some degree did, but if you think that they're not going to nip that shit in the bud as soon as it starts digging into their profit margins, you are sorely fucking mistaken. And politics aside, Trump tried, was mildly successful, and what the hell happened? As you said, they shut that shit the fuck down.
Yeah, it's that simple, man. Like, legit. Like, yo, this has nothing to do with the Democrats or none of the bullshit or some deep space interdimensional pedophiles that are out here raping children, folks. All right. They're out here trying to be demons. Okay. Joe Biden will be removed one way or another. And that's how it works. Right. Like, none of that's fucking real. None of that doesn't fucking, none of that matters. All right. Because, like, yo, it's not a big fucking club of interdimensional pedophiles who are demon raping children and shit. It's just a group of moneyed oligarchs who all sit on the same corporate boards. All right. And they all fucking share the same political views, which is globalism, internationalism is fucking good for them. All right. But it is fucking garbage for the average person. That's just the reality of it. You might be able to get cheap goods. Cheap goods is good, right? We can have more stuff. But in the end of the day, like, yo, it snowed like crazy here. Doku, you guys get hit down there, fucking down DC land, down Virginia?
Yeah, no, we got it pretty good. Not as bad as you guys did, but
we got like 2.5 feet up here. Like, we got fucking rocked, right? But like, legit, niggas is forgetting how to plow snow. Motherfuckers forgetting how to work on things, right? Like, yo, and once you lose your ability to sit here and do for yourself, what happens? What happens when you can't grow your own food no more because nobody knows? You're completely reliant upon this fucking system.
On that's the whole goal. Is you want to make people reliant. Like, what do you think? There's one side out here saying, "Oh, we need free college and we need free this, we need universal basic income, and all this and that." People don't realize that's money that comes out of your paycheck. Let's raise sales tax, let's raise income tax, let's raise property tax. You're just paying into the system that's going to end up just paying you back. Oh, by the way, you're also paying the paychecks for people that regulate that system. It's just a circle jerk of money. You're not going to get ahead because, again, it's a big club and you're not in it. It gives you the illusion of wealth. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme. That's the reason. If they can control the system of wealth that we're talking about right now, especially when it comes to a globalized market or globalized economy, sure, you might have prosperity. Sure, you might be able to bring back some type of manufacturing. But at the end of the day, you're not changing the fact that we're a consumer and service-based economy first and foremost. And the more and more one side tries to push that, well, whether it's Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. You're paying into a system that's giving you a negative return. And it makes you reliant upon the system as a result. And that's you really want to create a serfdom or a slave class of people. This is how you do it. That's the system we have. You could try to break it all you want. good fucking luck. I hate to sound pessimistic, but it's the fucking truth. And worst case scenario for someone like me or you, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit there with fucking money underneath my mattress for the next 50 years. I'm going to get crushed
End up
by
devalued.
I'm going to get crushed by the fact that they could just print fucking money. Yeah, sure I could buy gold and silver here and there when I can actually find it. Remember back like a year and a half ago, I couldn't even find silver even though silver was at a good price because the bullion dealers were just sold out. I got screwed. Why? Because that's how the fucking system works.
Remember, it was $12 a motherfucking ounce, right? And we could not get our hands on silver. The only way you could buy it is going through eBay, and it was $45 to $50 a fucking ounce on eBay. I remember that shit. Like, and I was sitting here and I'm like, man, listen, here's the thing, right? Like, what happens? Like, I remember there was a movie where a dude said 250 grand is always good. Well, the reality is now at this point, 250 grand ain't even enough. That'll barely get you through like a couple of years. What are you going to do with 250 grand? Like, what? You're going to buy a little fucking house, a little piece of land? You're going to end up getting robbed on the fucking property taxes. And by the time you're done furnishing it, you're going to be down to like $50,000, $60,000.
Yeah, that's the thing. You might be able to etch out a nice little corner in society for yourself at 250 grand, but it's not going to be enough to sustain you. And that's the problem that we have when it comes to the way the modern modern monetary theory, the way that they approach things. There's no sustainability behind it. I mean, not for the average person. If you're worth millions or billions of dollars, yeah, sure, you can skate by pretty nice if you're smart about it. But for the average person, I mean, fuck, dude. Most people my age are fucking so far in debt that you might as well be a lost cause. You might as well be cheering on for the great economic reset at this point in time because you won't have a chance otherwise. As much as I hate to rail against it based on principle, I mean, shit, it might actually work out better for you. Like, fuck, you might as well take out as much college loan debt as you possibly can get and fucking go to school and actually get some sort of degree that you can con someone into hiring you for, because the government will just end up forgiving your debt anyways. But you're going to be fucked regardless, so you might as well. And again, this is my whole point about it. They want you reliant upon the system. Put them in a shit ton of debt. If we have to do it through printing a shit ton of money or letting colleges run wild and charge exorbitant amounts for tuition, or if it's just dicking you over, as we see that's happening with all these for-profit career politicians, no matter what way they have to do it, they'll do it because it serves their interest. Doesn't matter if they're Democrat, Republican. They're as you said, they're fucking oligarchs. They're not fighting for your interests.
And here's the other half of the fucking problem too, right? Like, I was standing here and I was looking at this weekend I ended up and I'm in a major medical problem, right? And like now the rest of my life I'm going to be on fucking medication, right? Because of the fact that I had a job that I sat around all fucking day and shit. Like, if you end up getting a college degree and you end up going and fucking sitting in an office the rest of your life, you're going to end up with massive amounts of medical problems, and you're just going to pay all that money to doctors and fucking insurances any fucking way. Right? Unless you fucking spend, your fucking free time outside fucking running down the goddamn street trying to keep the fucking shape because you're not doing anything 8-10 hours a fucking day. What is the fucking point in having a fucking job sitting in a fucking office under fluorescent fucking lights all day? What good does that do?
At that point in time, you'd actually be better off just going and working on a fucking farm. It'd be better for your health.
Yeah. That's kind of the fucking point. Like, look, this is the fucking problem. Like, we cannot continue to have this anymore. Like, this system doesn't fucking work for any of us. And this is what I keep trying to say. Like, this system isn't where, like, getting a job, like, you go get a degree and you end up, as an engineer, and you're sitting on your ass at a fucking desk, fucking working on a computer all day long and shit. What the fuck is it that you're going to end up being? You're going to end up being some fat fuck at 45, 50 years old. All fucking, overweight and fucked up, massive amounts of medical problems. And your life's going to fucking suck any fucking way. By the time you're able to fucking spend your fucking savings and shit, your world's going to suck. What's the fucking point in this shit?
I mean, hell, they don't even have to sell you on the health implications that have that come from sitting behind a desk behind a computer screen all day. It's shit. They just sell you a bunch of depression medication, and the money cycle still continues. Whether it's through pharmaceuticals, whether it's through the military-industrial complex, as it's been coined, whether it's through printing money, whether it's through forcing you to put your money into the markets because, well, there's no other viable way. You're not keeping those dollars under your mattress. You'll be dicked over anyways. They will find a way to dick you over regardless. You could try your best, and by all means, try your best, because it's not just like what we were talking about earlier when it comes to silver. Yeah, when it becomes a viable opportunity, when it becomes a good opportunity, they cut off the supply. It's impossible to find. Same shit happened with ammunition. You think that won't happen with things like toilet paper? Oh, wait, we already saw that. You think it won't happen with things like food? Ah, saw that too. Do you really think that you is just a normal average person that is not part of the club? You really think that you're going to be able to become, a rich rock star and create this sort of wealth for yourself, or you're going to be completely free of any influence from the system? You're going to be completely financially independent. Maybe if you get lucky, if you're 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 10,000, 1 out of 1,000,000, maybe you'll be that one person. But the odds are stacked against you, because they need people. In order for the system to be sustainable, they need people to be reliant upon it. And that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't have a problem, like, if the average person could, afford a fucking home and a car and have a couple of kids and be fucking cool. But the issue is that we can't anymore, right? That's my fucking problem that I come down to, right? Like, when the average new home price is $395,000 and you're making 50 grand a fucking year, how do you save up 20% of fucking 400 grand?
Very, very good question.
Like, how do you save up 20% of 400 grand? Like, legit, like, explain that to me. When you're making 50,000 a year, after the tax man gets done with you, you probably around 38, maybe, right? And you still got to live. How do you save up 20,000? How do you save up, 20% of 400 grand? What is 20% of 400 grand? What, like, five times 88. How do you save up $80,000 when you're making 50 grand a year to buy a house?
And you have to have a lot of free time, and you have to dedicate 90% of it to watching financial markets, and you have to be smart and a little bit of luck. That's really the only way. And even then, you'll be lucky if 1 year yields that type of response. I mean, I got really lucky 1 year, and I turned 5,000 into $15,000. Guess what? That doesn't last forever. Take it from someone who's been there, and then watch what happens when the train reverses. You can't do it. You can't do it. The only way you possibly could do it is if you buy into a fund that you have to have at least $100,000 to drop into anyways, and they'll manage it for you. Oh, by the way, you're still paying the taxes. You're still going to have to worry about diminishing returns, especially when it comes to the value of the dollar, which is doing absolutely horrendous this week. And when it comes to trying to get ahead in this type of environment, you're not. I hate to break it to you, you're not.
I mean, so, like, yeah, and this is where I was at with, like, the mentality of fucking, like, who done stole the election and who sabotaged Trump. Like, it's the people who want this system to continue, right? Because Trump was trying to break it.
And for 2.5 years, it looked like he had a good chance of doing it. And everybody's talking about, oh, you need a magic wand. There's always going to be a 7% standard unemployment rate and this and that. You'll never get manufacturing back. And he proved them wrong. So what's the first thing that happens?
Well, no, like, here's all you have to do to clean up that unemployment rate is stop immigration. If you stop adding people to the economy every fucking year from overseas in different countries, Like, it's really easy to keep that unemployment rate under fucking control because all of a sudden now you have fucking, you have to hire Americans, right? Like, it's no longer like you're just hiring illegals all the fucking time. You're going to be hiring normal fucking citizens. Like all these fucking companies, like Smithfield and fucking Cargill and all these fucking companies that hire fucking meat packers and shit of this nature, right? That just hire Mexicans. They're going to have to hire Americans. They're going to have to hire those people who are sitting on welfare because, like, the amount of money it would cost to go to work is literally higher than the cost it would fucking be for them to fucking work. Right? Like, that's the real shit. All you had to do was stop immigration. Right. And like, Trump did it and the corporations felt that sting because all of a sudden now you have everybody out here making $22 a fucking hour to do these jobs and the corporations can't afford it. Like, because I've been on the job market because, like, medical bullshit, whatever. So I had to switch professions. Right. Like, I've been on the job market. They're offering fucking sign-on bonuses for regular workers. They're offering sign-on bonuses. They're offering fucking like $2,000-$3,000 just to come and show up to work.
Oh, dude, that's the whole thing. You remember back in 2015, 2016, and I believe, if I remember correctly, this was mostly Southern California. But they were trying to argue against Trump's whole immigration, build the wall, all that. And they're like, well, they might be illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants, but they're doing jobs that Americans just aren't willing to do. So Trump's whole anti-immigration policy is going to actually harm the economy because Americans aren't willing to go out and pick avocados or what the fuck ever. What the fuck happened back in 2018, 2017? Gee, Americans actually are willing to do these jobs, especially if it's paying 15 to 20 bucks an hour.
There's a 3-year waiting list for applications at the fucking mills around here. What do you mean Americans don't want to do these fucking jobs?
Oh, that's the argument they were trying to make, is that no, we need more immigration, even if it's undocumented immigrants, because Americans just aren't willing to go out and, pick fucking raspberries or fucking grapes.
No, we
bullshit.
We won't do it for slave wages. This is the problem.
Oh, that's right? even for minimum wage. Like right when this happened in 2016, they found, oh, wait a second. You can't find labor for $5 an hour under the table. We have to start paying actual minimum wage. Crap. Well, it's like the state of California already had a fucking unemployment problem. It's almost like people who are unemployed and looking for work are actually willing to go out and pick avocados and grapes for minimum wage. Because you already have a pool of workers. It's just you can't pay them $5. You have to pay them $7.85.
You got to pay him 10. You got to pay him 12. That's what you pay for labor because of the fact that you've driven up the cost of, and this is where you probably missed the beginning of this, right? Is like legit, the government is the welfare arm of the corporations, right? It's just there to fucking give out money to people fucking to keep them satisfied so that they don't come after them. But as they do so, they continue to devalue the currency. And as they devalue the fucking currency, the cost of motherfucking wages is supposed to go up. But instead of having fucking wages go up, they just bring in fucking immigrants in order to fucking offset the cost and lower the value of the fucking labor.
Oh, and then also by extension, that increases the profit margin. I mean, if you're you don't even have to be.
It's all about keeping the profit margin. That's all this is about. That's all any of this shit's about is corporations keeping their fucking profit margin. That's all this is, right? Because they're like, well, all right. And not only that, they said, okay, well, we're not going to have pensions anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to have 401ks, and all these 401ks in the market have to continue to grow with the fucking devaluing of the currency. So when individuals retire, they're able to fucking retire and have money coming out of the fucking system and shit, right? And they're able to fucking be cool. But we can't have our cake and eat it the fuck too. It doesn't work that way. Right? Because that's what all these bailouts were really about. It was about standing here, fucking being able to have the 401ks continue to have value because there's $70 trillion worth of 401ks in the market right now. right? And it's just sloshing around looking for fucking yield. And nobody knows what to fucking do with them. I keep telling people this shit. Nobody's listening to me. Like they keep like fucking thinking like it's some like interdimensional space demons out here trying to suck people's blood and shit and rape fucking children, right? Like that's the fucking main cause of everybody's problems in America, rather than the fact that like we've literally set up a system that doesn't fucking work. They don't want to have that conversation in any way, shape, or form because they're all tied into it at this fucking moment.
Oh, and that's a big problem that a lot of people don't fucking realize. And we've been fed a lie. At least I don't know about your generation, but I'm not too much younger. I'm not too much younger than you in the grand scheme of things. But my generation has this bad habit of not understanding just basic fucking economics, and I find it mind-boggling. Where they think, yeah, sure, the government can just provide for you. We'll just print money. It'll be fine. Like they don't understand basic supply demand. And I do not understand it, or specifically, I do not understand how someone can lack grasping why a situation where you try to increase supply, especially in the labor force, but demand stays steady, while at the same time you're increasing down this path of continuing printing the fiat currency, that you expect the system that we have, one that in a lot of cases, especially if you go to work in the corporate world, where your net worth is going to be worth the same thing simply because there's an extra zero behind it. They don't understand that. They don't understand that, no, you're pretty much worth the same thing, if not less, because the amount that your account is growing, your asset values, is not keeping up with the actual real value of the economy. If anything, you're losing it. And most people don't even understand the 2% targeted inflation. They try to compare it to the interest rate that's set by the Fed, which is bullshit. The only reason that's set at zero is because they're trying to fight deflation. Why are they trying to do that? Because for the past fucking decade, we've been stuck in an environment where we should have gone through a deflationary period, and the only reason we fought that off is because the Fed decided to print trillions of dollars, and they continue to do so. You don't win either way. You're not rich enough to go open a fucking bank account overseas in fucking the Bahamas or fucking in Switzerland.
Okay. All right. Let me explain where this deflationary fucking mentality comes from, right? Because like you go, oh, we're printing all this money. Why are we fucking having a deflationary problem? Well, like here's the issue, right? The problem is that we have, again, that massive baby boomers just yanking their money out of the market. And as they do so, like it ends up having the currency fucking become stronger because like there's less dollars in circulation. Right. And that's the problem. Like as that slosh fund becomes like ends up having people get shit gets pulled out of it. And as you have individuals overseas, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, fucking decimating dollars and using them and things of this nature. Right. And hold them and whatever. Like this ends up having a problem of where you'll have deflationary periods where fucking the value of stocks will go the fuck down because your currency is strengthening back up because of the fact that like the fucking shit's getting pulled out of the market and spent and, you know what I mean, taxed back out of fucking existence again, right? This is something that like, you know what I mean, fucking we have a massive problem with. And this is why like, you know, they can't have this modern monetary theory problem of where they just tax the money out of existence because they need the money in the fucking system to keep liquidating it so they can keep pumping up the value of fucking assets and equities and shit. And PJ Luda, you're not wrong, nigga. You're not wrong. I got the fact, you know what I'm saying? That like, yo, a lot of this is the fact that, you know, women are out here fucking, you know, being subsidized for fucking doing what men do and, you know, going to fucking work. And that's, I'm going to do a video tomorrow. That's all some shit that Joe Rogan did. I wanted to shoot myself in the fucking face when I fucking saw it earlier. I couldn't understand the words coming out of their mouths. Like, I don't understand why they won't fucking like fix shit. You know what I mean? APT 420, you're not wrong. The system is rigged, my brother. Right. That's what we're going through right now. That's what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like legit. So anyway, yeah, fucking. I don't really know.
Remember the other week I talked to you about where do you think oil's got to go?
Right.
So
Are we still there? Are you still worried about fucking like the oil going up and down?
Oh no, I'm actually watching this because I find it fascinating. So for anyone in the chat that doesn't know, I do trade oil and I follow it really closely. And I also follow bubbles. I've watched bubble economies for the past 2 decades now. Watching what oil is doing right now, how the hell are you going to tell me that oil is going to run up from 36 to almost $50 per barrel in WTI crude when inventories continue to increase? Lockdowns are still a thing, but every explanation that every major news outlet has, coronavirus vaccine. I've been hearing it for the past 7 fucking weeks. No effect. You want to know why?
No, they're pricing in the stimulus. That's what it is. They're pricing into the devaluation of the fucking currency.
No, it's not even the stimulus. I can tell
it?
you exactly what it is.
Go ahead.
There's big money that's been sitting on the sidelines, and because there is money that is propping up the price, that's what keeps driving the price up. Because watch what happens in the European and Asian markets. It flatlines, or it even takes a small dip down, and it starts to move into a correction. As soon as the U.S. markets open, though, every single time it's gap up, 1% here, 0.5% there, 2% there, for 7 fucking weeks. This is the bubble economy that we have in the United States. This is why you know this shit is rigged. You want to know why it's rigged? The saying goes, buy the rumor, sell the news. It is rigged because guess what? We're small fish in a very big fucking pond. Where do you think all that money comes from?
Fucking massive corporations and hedge funds, like ETFs and fucking mutual funds and shit. That's where the money always comes from.
That all have each other's they all have each other's hands in the pockets of fucking government.
Well, yeah,
it's a business. Literally, our government has become a business, and again, it's a game.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I've been trying to like have this conversation about like what we call this, right? Because like I've heard a lot of people stand here and call it, corporate oligarchy. I've heard people call it corporatism. I've heard people call it a lot of different things, right? And I'm not real sure what we're supposed to call this of what we are. Evil Dead Doku's on my show right now. He will deal with gaming here soon when I'm done with my stream, because I got to be done with this by like 3:20 or 3:25. I got a doctor's appointment. So like, fucking, I'm not sure what to call this. And then we're going to need a new financial like ideology here soon as the population starts to go down across the world, because capitalism and fucking socialism and communism are not going to work anymore.
I've thought about this myself a lot lately, especially since I've been trading oil in the current environment. Because again, this is if the people that have the money to actually make the market move want the market to move in a certain direction, they're going to make it move. You're not going to change it. The market does not play by the fundamentals. To some degree, it plays by technicals, but that's even in that realm, those algorithms are set. If oil takes, you can even look at the price today. If you don't believe me, go look at the price of WTI crude oil as it opened today. It spiked up, and then immediately it spiked back down. And the second that it spikes down to a certain point, it makes a huge fucking spike up, and then it flatlines. Why does it flatline? Because that's where the algorithms have it set. It's all automated trading. Do you think that someone like me can sit there and hit refresh on my fucking computer and type it back in quick enough to actually take advantage of these types of movements? No, I can't. The game is fucking rigged. And guess what? You don't have enough money to play it.
My poker game's rigged as well.
The onboarding process.
Hey, hold things down for a minute, man. I got a fucking phone call.
Yeah, man. So no, I do agree with Pinoid. the way that our economic system is set up at this stage, it doesn't matter what your 401k is sitting at. It doesn't matter how much money they print. As far as us, even people that have a little bit of money to invest, a little bit of money to put back in the bank to save, that's enough for us to maybe live a decent life by the time we hit 40 or 50 years old, and we can live off the interest rate, the insurance, whatever we're getting back. It's not enough for you to be financially independent. You're still going to have to work in some way, shape, or form up until about your 40s or 50s. Assuming the whole system doesn't go complete belly up and they do the whole great reset bullshit that they're talking about anyways. Which, again, if you're young and you have a lot of debt, you should actually be rooting for, because it'll actually work out in your favor. But keep in mind, if that does happen, you will be a slave to the financial system regardless. You'll never be able to do what I'm doing and actually sit down and trade and make money without having to pay somebody else to be profitable. That simply just will not exist. What I don't think a lot of people realize is that this system was set up this way 5 decades ago. This is not new. And if you think your governor is actually working in your favor, specifically your financial favor, you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. It's why I can't stand these people who are talking about, well, the government will forgive all our debts. No, they won't. You're just being subjugated by the government that you think is going to fix all your problems. You will be a financial slave to them, as if you weren't already. Except instead of being a financial slave to the banks that control the interest rates, that control money printing, how it's distributed, to the corporations that advertise to you, that want your money. No, instead you'll be a slave to the actual government, because you're going to be reliant upon them for your healthcare, your education, even your banking. Go back and study history. Just audit a history class. Even back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was a group of union workers that wanted the railroads, the mail system, which they actually got that one. But they also wanted the banking system to a financial degree. They wanted it all nationalized. This is nothing new. The problem is that people who work for a, quote, livable wage, they're more concerned about having an insurance policy. They're more concerned about being able to pay their paychecks and not have to worry about being homeless and take care of their families and being able to put food on the table. They would rather have that than the opportunity to be independently wealthy and free from any type of control or oversight from a greater power, whether that power comes from money or from legislative power that's given to government. And that's the problem we're seeing again, is that people are so financially fragile. The economy itself is so volatile. They would rather give up the prospect, even the opportunity, to be independently wealthy when given that option, as compared to being taken care of, will guarantee you'll never be homeless. And it's that type of mindset that has put us in the situation that we have right now. And I can understand why people would think that way. Like, yeah, sure, I want an insurance policy as well. I don't want to be homeless. It sounds like a sweet deal. Except you have to realize what you're giving up in order to obtain that. What you're giving up is any prospect of you being your own person, of you being independent of the government, not having to worry about the banks, not having to worry about corporations, not having to worry about welfare, Medicare, Medicaid. No, fuck all your government programs, fuck all your guarantees, fuck the 401ks. I can just sit there, let my money sit. I'll manage it as I see fit. I don't need anybody else. I'm good. That's what you're giving up. I would much rather take that. I would much rather risk my own money and be financially independent than pay slightly higher taxes and be guaranteed that I'm always going to have health care or always going to, have at least some sort of government housing or something like that. I'm never going to end up on the streets. Okay. I guess why some people would take that. I'm not one of them. I would much rather have the opportunity to be rich. But if you take that mindset, what I just described, you want your free college, you want your guaranteed healthcare, take it. But take it knowing that you're never going to be independent, or you're never going to be financially independent. You're never going to be independently wealthy. You're never, ever going to be rich. Not unless you somehow manage to make a crap ton of money by some stroke of luck and then turn around and become a venture capitalist and create the next Amazon. You'll never be rich, ever.
Angel investors, am I right?
Huh?
Angel investors.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I know I see some of you guys are saying buy Bitcoin. How long do you think before the government's actually come down and shut that down too? Because I guarantee you they will. They're already talking about it.
I heard about it.
Bitcoin's only viable as long as certain markets give it value. Here's the problem with Bitcoin. Bitcoin still is not a tangible asset. It's better than the US dollar or any other printable fiat currency, only in the sense that it is working off blockchain technology. So there is some artificial scarcity built into it. But it doesn't take a lot for Bitcoin to suddenly be not a thing. And this goes with any cryptocurrency.
Yeah, crypto is always a pain in the ass in that manner because, like, at any given point, a government could come in and shut it the fuck down.
Exactly. I mean, it's high risk, high reward, but that's a risk that I'm not willing to take. I know a lot of people have made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, what happens, heaven forbid, like you have an EMP, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something crazy happened and the power gets knocked the fuck out, right?
Oh, you don't even need an EMP, just have a bad solar flare. Again, because it's working off blockchain technology, those Bitcoins cannot be replicated. That's what gives Bitcoin its artificial scarcity. But at the end of the day, dude, it's fucking electrons floating around in the ether. It's not like an actual physical bar of gold or silver. Yeah, it can make you a crap ton of money. And it's decentralized, so governments don't have control over it. They can't print it out of existence. But there's nothing to stop governments from shutting that shit down either. I mean, you're taking a big risk. If you want to take that risk,
here's the problem I have, right? Like with my money in a bank, it's backed by the FDIC, right? Like at any given point, like if I have money in the bank, right? And I have a statement of how much money I have in the bank, and I go to the FDIC, like my money will be replaced if something crazy like that happens, right? Brother good, what up, man? Welcome. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, it will, and there'll be a record of it too. So it won't be like, oh, I had this much Bitcoin. And people have to keep in mind, Bitcoin is still traded more like a commodity than it is like a currency.
Yeah.
So it's in a weird spot. It's almost like you're trading if you were trading like a gold, like GLD or SLV, if you're trading a gold or silver ETF.
Right.
Bitcoin is somewhere in between that and trading the US dollar against the euro or the won or the yen.
No, Leech. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, like, if an EMP hits, right? Like something happens on, or like a massive solar flare or something that knocks out all the power, and like the bank goes, oh, we don't have your fucking money anymore because it was digital. We don't have a record or whatever the case might be. And like the FDIC backs all deposits, right? So you can get your money back through the FDIC. It might be a little bit of a fucking headache with the paperwork and all the bullshit, but you can get it back. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the mentality. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that like when a collapse happens, the FDIC is going to be solvent. You're out of your fucking mind if like you think I'm saying that. Like you fucking believe me. I understand the FDIC will go insolvent if like something really, really fucking bad happens. You know what I mean? I just wanted to put that out there. You know what I mean? That Evil Dead Ed, no, just fucking take the money that you're getting. You know what I mean? There was an EMP. Oh, because Tom Leach, if you have your records of how much money you had in the bank, right? Like for instance, like, you know, I don't know, like you fucking saved your shit in a Faraday cage, you know what I'm saying? And you have like, you know, a digital record or you have the paper record of your account or whatever the case might be, then you can prove of how much money you had. You know what I mean? Like if you have your account statements and things of this nature, right? That's kind of the day, right? I'm not trying to like get into the nitty gritty with you, but like that's kind of where the mentality is, right? Yo, man, fucking, I ain't got no goddamn text message from these motherfuckers. But like, yo, it is what it is. Anyway, right? Yeah, fucking, yeah. Like that's kind of where I'm at. The FDIC will, you know, what I mean, back up your shit because like, yo, all deposits are backed up by the FDIC. You know, what I mean, that's kind of where I am.
And that's the thing with money that you have in the bank, they are required to keep records, so it will be insured up to a certain point. Bitcoin, you're taking your life into your own hands in that one. And again, risk reward. And again, a lot of people have made a lot of money in crypto, but you have to keep in mind you're accepting a lot of risk by doing it. And that's always been my stance on it. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You just have to remember you're taking a huge amount of risk. You're investing in probably the most, I won't say unstable, but the most potentially volatile, unproven and potentially volatile currency that we've seen, well, since we went off the gold standard officially.
Look, here's what I'm saying. The moment there's a threat, some smart motherfucker will figure out a way to shut it the fuck down. Like, yo, that's how that works. The moment there's some crazy threat from it, like it starts threatening, you know what I mean, like really getting into like, you know, being bigger than some serious currency, they will shut it the fuck down. Right. And that's kind of the deal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I know that fucking smart people are smart and they're fucking assholes and they always find a way to fuck the little guy. And that's kind of the deal.
When it comes to things like Bitcoin, I think it's going to, if the trend I'm seeing is correct, as more and more commercial institutions, you know, groups like, not just like JM Bullion, where they say, yeah, we'll accept Bitcoin. But when you start seeing Amazon accepting Bitcoin, not just for electronics, but like what's the name of the grocery store that Amazon has?
Whole Foods.
Yeah, when you start seeing them accepting Bitcoin in exchange for actual food, don't be surprised when that starts getting the ISR on treatment, because that now is actually going to start undermining the legitimacy of the specifically the US dollar, but all sovereign currencies as they stand, being printed by any sovereign nation, but specifically any central bank. So look at the euro, the pound, the yen, the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, the US dollar. When Bitcoin really starts competing with that, where I can meet all of my needs. I can pay my mortgage. I can pay my car payment. I can pay my insurance. I can buy food.
Now, hang on. Now, Dingleberry, as an investment, I like Bitcoin, right? As an investment. I just don't like it in the sense that the cult of Bitcoin likes it. Right, just like the cult of Elon Musk. Like I think Tesla's a great investment, right? But I don't buy into the hype that Elon Musk is, you know what I mean, I don't know, like some alien from fucking Mars who's gonna, you know what I mean, land us on fucking some other planet and shit. But I do like it. I hold fucking cryptos in my fucking shit too. Like, it's nothing misunderstood. Like, I got you. Like, I know cryptos are fucking, like, they have a value in investments. I got you. I just don't think of it as the next wave of fucking like where the world's gonna go, and we're gonna become an internet, man. It's gonna be completely, the whole world's gonna be just completely disconnected, man, and we're all gonna just stand here and have like blockchain technologies, and we're all gonna be interconnected and stuff, man, and like it's just all gonna be decentralized, man, and like we're gonna say fuck the system, man, and like the system is gonna, we're just gonna get rid of it altogether, man. Believe me, the system's gonna fight for itself.
No, there's no country that will allow that, especially a country that has a central bank. And the central bank has been established. And trust me, the people that run central banks, the people that run groups like the Fed, they're a lot smarter than even the smartest Bitcoin trader out there. They will shut your ass down so fucking fast, it'll make your head spin, and it'll be a new Black Monday and a new Black Tuesday, followed by a Black Month. And
they have power. That's the other part of it. I mean, it's not just the fact that they have, like fucking, they're smart. They have power. They have the ability to go do dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where the mentality really gets down to.
This is something you have to realize. You treat Bitcoin like it's a commodity. Don't treat it like it's a currency. Because all any of these centralized powers have to do is put pressure on any group that might trade or might use Bitcoin as an acceptable form of payment and tell them, no, you can't, under threat of fine. And guess what? Bitcoin loses all its value. Again, if you start seeing a group where it's like you can buy food, buy a car, buy a house, but you can do it using Bitcoin instead of the US dollar, that's the second you'll see Bitcoin get shut the fuck down so fast it'll make your head spin. It'll lose half of its value overnight.
Dingleberry, do not buy into the cult of cryptocurrency. All right, there's a cult.
The Kool-Aid.
Yeah, they're drinking the Kool-Aid, nigga, like legit. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
I'm actually more concerned about the problem with cryptocurrency is that it's basically a modernization of the triple ledger system in a digital numerical type fashion. So that means that as cool as it is that you get to have all this anonymous and decentralized stuff, it's actually a whole lot of an easier task to use that same technology to make something out of a fucking Black Mirror episode than it is to make it so that we have a crypto paradise. Like, the reason Walmart is investing in cryptocurrency technology is not because they want to accept Bitcoin. It's because they want to be. It's because they want to be able to. Am I still here?
Yes.
All right, but the reason Walmart is investing in crypto is because they want to be able to basically trace a coffee bean back to the field that it was harvested from. They want to be able to do quality control checks at every single link in the supply chain. And not Bitcoin, but cryptocurrencies are actually super good for that, because like those little QR codes are something that lets you do that with a computer very quickly. And it lets you basically have a ledger that does not have like a character limit, more or less. So it's actually a lot easier for us to go like cyberpunk dystopia with Bitcoin rather than any sort of good type of thing. Although it is nice when people who are already on the page of doing something really cool and libertarian try to make it work. But as we've all seen with the various cryptocurrencies, there's not actually enough trust between people, even libertarian-minded people, to make it work in the way that they want it to. It's like Bitcoin specifically is a non-correlated speculative asset, is the way I understand it.
Well, like here's like, all right, check this. All right, check this out, right? Like, for instance, I recently had to buy something from somebody in Venezuela, right?
Right.
And when I went to go buy something from somebody in Venezuela, there is no way to actually fucking pay them, right? In any type of fucking, like, you can't pay crypto. You can't pay motherfucking you can't pay fucking PayPal. You can't fucking wire nothing to an account. You can't do anything, right? And like, yo, this is the problem that like you run into with things like this. It can all be shut down at a given fucking notice, right? Like, yo, anybody, like, yo, they can just go, it's fucking done with, and it's over, right? You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy like that. And I don't like that ideology. Like, I don't like the fact that like it's all electronic and there's no way of physically getting by like without like having some type of electronic connection. You know what I mean? You can't really do it anonymously anymore. Like it's not there to where it used to be at. And that's my pain in the ass about shit.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yes.
I don't know if it's still a thing anymore, but I do know that for a while there was some people in Venezuela who was making like origami out of their currency, and then they would sell that to people overseas for World of Warcraft gold, because that was actually a way to turn a profit, because you could sell World of Warcraft gold to people in all sorts of currencies. So, but I think that more says something about Venezuela's currency than anything else.
Well, it's not just that. It's that the U.S. government has shut down all ways of fucking buying things from Venezuela, right? You know, and like, again, like if they have that power to do it now, they will have that power to do it tomorrow. Like there are trade-offs with all this fucking, you know, I mean, having, you know, Coinbase be backed and insured and, you know, I mean, all this fucking other bullshit and having it be mainstream. It's the fact that like, it's going to end up being regulated the same way that the banks are, and it's going to be controlled the same fucking way. So like, you know, for instance, you know, if they want to stand here and cut you the fuck off because they don't like what you're saying online, or, you know, I mean, they don't like what the fuck you did to protest or whatever the case might be, they can fucking do it. Right. And that's just where the fucking mentality is. And that's why I've always been a big silver and gold advocate, because I'm like, yo, look, you hold it. It's yours. It's in your fucking hands. I mean, you know, somebody earlier was talking about buying copper ingots. And I was like, dude, fuck buying copper ingots. Like, yo, just invest in the motherfucking market. But if you're going to buy silver and gold, you know, like I own like, you know, fucking silver and gold ETFs too. But I'd like to you have to have gold and silver in your fucking hand. That way, if something happens, you can trade with individuals around you and still have the ability to fucking go on with your life and get food and water and whatever the fuck you need. That's just kind of the deal. You know what I mean? Yeah. Eggs in a basket, nigga. Like, I like cryptocurrency as, you know what I mean, fucking an investment, especially when you're talking about weighing crypto against the dollar, you know what I mean, or against the yuan or against whatever, because all these currencies are hyperinflating. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So like these cryptos are going to do real well.
Yeah, you're not wrong on you know what, I've talked too much. Go ahead, Gary.
Just a fun little aside. If anybody actually really does want to invest in copper and you want to do it for free, anytime you get change back, pennies, but specifically 1983 and prior. Anytime you have a penny that's 1983 and prior, save it. Just throw it in a Ziploc bag, save it.
I've got
99% copper.
Yeah, I've got a jar full of them.
Yep. Yeah. It's literally a free way to invest in copper, because it's a penny that's made after 1983. It's something like half the copper content, and if you talk about the ones that have the shield on the back, it's not even a third of the copper content by comparison. And if you don't believe me, take 10 or 20 of them, and take 10 or 20 of those little shield ones, and then 10 or 20 that are 1983 and prior, hold them in your hand. You'll actually notice the actual weight difference. Easiest way to invest in copper.
Yeah, I think the modern ones are a combination of zinc and tin.
I believe so. I don't know off the top of my head, but I think you're correct.
Who took over Mad Dodge's channel?
Jensen's running it now.
Gotcha.
Maddox.
Yeah. Fucking anyway. Fucking yeah, it just went live. Some type of debate shit. I don't fucking know. But yeah, like,
I'm supposed to be there. So I'll wrap up here. Yeah, I'll wrap up here. I have if you want to invest in crypto, again, treat it as a commodity. Treat it as keep in mind it's always purely digital. Don't treat it as the same thing as if you're holding a dollar bill or an actual physical ounce of gold or an ounce of silver. It's not the same thing. It might be a good investment. Don't let the term that it says currency in the name confuse you. It's not currency. The second that it becomes a threat to currencies, it will get shut down. And we're getting very, very close to that. The second you can buy a house in Bitcoin, expect Bitcoin to get shut the fuck down really quick. And don't come crying to me saying, but, nope. That's going to be the point in time I say, I told you so.
Yeah, I feel where you are. Yeah, I mean, go do your thing, man. Fucking, I'll holler at you later. All right.
All right, bro. Have a good stream.
You too, man.
Peace.
All right, there we go. Yeah, fucking man. Listen, yeah, I just had a phone interview, right? And the lady's like, "Well, if you hold a Class A, then we have to fucking stand here and go through your medical shit." And I'm like, "Nigga, I can't fucking pass a medical test right now. Like, I can't get a fucking med card. The fuck is wrong with you?" So I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure something the fuck out and make money. But yeah, man, you know what I mean? Fucking, but my Bitcoin, what if we do if they shut it down? Like, yeah, you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like, again, like that's why I like hold cash, hold gold, hold motherfucking silver. Don't hold a lot of cash though, because like cash is fucking, you know, is eventually gonna be toilet paper. Like, yo, it is what it is. Like, yo, cash eventually like is gonna get to the point where you're gonna be burning it to keep fucking warm. Like that's where cash gets to.
Weimar style.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, I don't know what happens at that point. You know what I mean? He said he bought a vacation to Mexico. Nigga, I ain't never even had a vacation to Mexico, man. I wish I fucking didn't have all these goddamn kids and shit. But anyway, right? Yo, look, look, man, it's been about an hour. Tom Pease is tired. I got to go get some fucking food in my stomach and shit and figure some stuff out. So, you know, I mean, yo, I'm going to holler at y'all motherfuckers later. Thank you all very much for coming out. Y'all know the deal. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm on a new platform. Join the Discord. You know what I'm saying? I'll drop the fucking link for the new platform and shit. Thank you, Crag. Thank you, Doku. Thank you, DK Mao. Thank you, everybody.
I'm a bit player.
Fuck out. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. Anyway, yo, look, I'm going to holler at y'all motherfuckers later. Peace be like one of my brothers.
Don't trade like their stocks, man. Don't trade Bitcoin like the stocks.